Between liquor and weed, I think liquor is worse because liquor is a depressant. I'm not addicted to weed. I don't have to smoke, I just choose to.
The topic of the use of marijuana is not a new concept, especially to Georgia. However, its controversial connotation is mostly linked to its recreational use. How are people responding towards this hypothetical legalization in Georgia?
My name is Carol Buggs. I work at Quest Diagnostics. I'm a forensic toxicology processing supervisor. Marijuana is one of the most positive drugs that we have. It's probably 60% of the samples that we have. The legalization of marijuana will affect the job market in Georgia tremendously. Georgia has a huge market in the DOT industry, trucking, airlines. We've got the largest airlines in the world here. So it's going to affect all those industries because most of those people are driving something that's going to affect the public.
You know, the truth is, no, people don't use marijuana and then go out and kill someone. They don't use marijuana and go out and do a lot of violent crimes or anything like that. So on that end, no, it doesn't do that, but there are other ways in which it affects individuals. People using marijuana can develop a tolerance, and that means they need more of the same substance in order to get the effects that they got before. So there have been people who, over time, increase the amount of substance that they're using, which can cause some negative effects. Even if you know your friend that gave it to you, you don't know who produced it. You don't know what's in it, and people put a lot of different chemicals in that. And you know, they're not sitting there measuring it out specifically. They're putting in whatever they decide they're going to put into it, and those chemicals react differently with each other. So you never know what you're getting when you're smoking marijuana.
It is not only the opinions of the experts that are valuable, but also let's take it to a more personal level where family tragedies become involved.
My name is Yamile. I studied public health, and I had a family member who was a victim of drug trafficking. So he was kidnapped one morning, and then he didn't return home, so the police started investigating, and then they found him 3 days later. And once you put your foot in it, you can't back out of it. So they usually threaten your family or yourself, and because he didn't want to do that, he was killed at the end. The people that get detained for carrying drugs are just down at the bottom, and the people that handle everything are those in the richer countries or that have more money. I think that marijuana is just a small part of the entire problem, and legalizing marijuana won't solve much. It's just one part of the whole drug environment.
It seems as though the legalization would cause a lot of trouble to the minds of the Georgian citizens. However, marijuana does not only have to be used for business and recreation activities.
For medical use, marijuana is excellent because with cancer patients, it tends to calm that nauseousness. And for them, you have to have that chemo because if you want to survive it, so with cancer patients, it's wonderful. With patients with eye problems, glaucoma, it saved people's vision. So it's been proven to work in a lot of scenarios.
I believe marijuana is effective with treating certain disorders or complications. It creates the patients who have a decline in their appetite to increase their appetite.
Interesting perspectives can be taken from the religious community, whereby its spiritual use is discussed.
I am Michael Wortham, the Assistant Pastor for Youth, College, and Young Adult Ministries at Ebenezer Baptist Church. I do and I do not believe in the spiritual use of marijuana. I believe in it in the terms of if it's a part of the culture of the faith. If it's an innate part of your faith tradition, is it something that makes the foundation of your faith tradition, then I don't see a problem with it.
For a state like Georgia, legalizing marijuana will not just be a matter of social influence, but also a matter of lifetime consequences, money, as well as power control.
Some people don't realize it's just that the states may legalize the substance, but at this point, our national government, the federal government, has not legalized it. So it's still on a federal level illegal, even though it's legal on a state level. And so that's something else that people are working out and trying to figure out, how do we do this when it's technically legal in a state, but it's not legal with the government? How do we handle that? Really, it is a game of chance if you decide to use a substance.